want to get an analyst perspective on those Google numbers. Joining us right now on the phone is Joel Achramowicz. Joel, so Sheila just breaking down the numbers here. It was a miss on the EPS number, 808 versus 812 was the estimate everybody was expecting. Better, though, on the revenue number. Your initial thoughts on Google's earnings here? Because the stock's down about 3% here, 4% actually.
Yes, I think the previous commenter has some good points. I mean, what we've been concerned about is the increasing ramp in operating expenses because the company is investing in so many initiatives. And it looks like, despite the revenue number, that's really what's impacting the bottom line here. And it's obviously a challenge for Google because it's such a large company, and increasing, any incremental increase in operating expenses is generally going to impact the bottom line, and as it did so here.
Well, this is why, at least part of the reason that Larry Page is now the CEO, right? I mean, these are the kind of changes that people want to see him make. Obviously, it's a little too early to expect him to have had impact on the last quarter's earnings.
Absolutely, and it's, I think, very important for him to make a statement on the call today, and I think that's what we're all waiting for. Is really, it's his first opportunity to put a stamp on the company individually, and probably more important than anything else is for him to really take a leadership role here and articulate where he's going to take Google going forward, and so I see that as being extraordinarily.
Is there any doubt, Joel, that Larry Page will make a statement on the call? I mean, he is, after all, now the chief executive officer of the company that he founded, and of course, the analyst community. You're not the only one who's saying you want to hear him on the conference call. Is there any doubt that he actually makes an appearance here?
I really don't have any doubt. I mean, he certainly made some brief comments last quarter when the change was announced. I think it's absolutely incumbent upon him to make a very important statement and to really inaugurate his his control over the company. That's absolutely paramount, I would think. But I would be very disappointed.
You would be very disappointed. But I mean, Eric Schmidt wasn't a big presence on these earnings calls, was he? I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier. He didn't have a big presence. So should we expect something different, though, with Larry Page?
Well, early on, I think he did. It's just that, once, he put the team in place and the processes in place to really drive the company. I think Eric has always been very good about letting his team play focal roles. But I think at this point in time, with the reins changing in this regard, it's very important for Larry to establish his leadership position as a pivot at the company, and basically to structure his team and then use it in whatever way he thinks is appropriate going forward. I think it's very important, this call, that he takes the lead.
Hi, it's Sheila Damarajan here out in the newsroom. We've been talking a lot about Google's spending spree, whether it's acquisitions or hiring employees. One of their big forays has been into social media. What do you think Larry Page is going to say about that? I mean, they've been so public about how they want to become successful in social media.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about that, and I think they've been reluctant to break out, in any way, any particular, representative investment that they're making in that area. We all know that social is very important. They talk about it all the time, and I've been on record as I'm a bit skeptical about their ability to really compete directly with Facebook at this stage. I think they have to take a more peripheral approach to the social sector and really play to their strengths in search in order to really establish some type of footing there. I think in the Groupon area, in terms of coupons, local merchandising, and I think they're in a very strong position there. They already have a sales force in place, but with 600 million people using Facebook, I think it's a real stretch for them to really go up against Facebook directly in the social space.
Hey, Joel, I want our viewers to know that of the 43 analysts that cover Google, your calls have produced the highest returns over the past year. And what's interesting is you're one of 8 analysts that have a hold on this stock. I mean, most overwhelmingly like it. They call it a buy. Why do you have a hold, just quickly, and what would make you change your mind here?
Well, I was in a quote in a journal today and an article, and I think the thing is that when you look at Google's model, they're a phenomenal software company. They understand the web, quintessentially. The problem is it's a very complex model with a lot of layers of software, and what's difficult as an analyst is to correlate revenue with their actual underlying software platforms. And it's hard to really put a secular model together in order to track any particular ramping in revenues. And it's just, I think the important thing is to get an indication, hopefully going forward, a more definitive maybe breakout of where where the general revenues, the advertising revenues are emanating from, and so we can correlate more going forward in terms of the more productive platforms, and that's something that's been lacking.
We'll see if we'll get any of that on the call today. Joel Achramowicz, thank you so much. We appreciate your time in breaking down those Google numbers.